Hi folks, Russ Scala here with Scala Precision Health. I'm really excited about our new performance enhancement program for the over 40 crowd because I'm over 40 and we have 10,000 people a day turning 65 in this country, and they're going to want to run marathons, they're going to want to swim around the Keys, and they want to continue to ride their bikes in Europe, and we have a program that's second to none here. It's really exciting. We take a deep dive and look at people on the cellular level to increase performance. Let me give you a little backstory on how this started, okay? Back when I was a paramedic in the early 80s, I was attached to the SWAT team and I needed to find a new community. I started doing triathlons, and my first triathlon in 1983, that led me to a 20-year career doing triathlons. My first race that I did was an international distance race, which was a mile swim, a 25-mile bike, and a 6.2-mile run. I thought I was bulletproof. I came across the finish line. I felt elated. I was excited to be in this group. And I studied performance starting in 1984. What I learned is that right around 1996, we went to the ketogenic diet because so many endurance athletes were overweight. So my evolution of watching myself train and do high mileage, not bragging, but I was learning about physiology along the way, and I wasn't doing any nutritional hormonal testing, and here's what I saw. I started seeing athletes in the medical tent with heart disease. I started seeing them with arrhythmias that I saw from really sick people, and I said, what's going on? Then one of my good friends, Scott Levitt, had a heart attack. And I really started to take a deep dive in what was happening to the physiology of these endurance athletes that were doing high mileage training. Now, I started 10 years into it, I started to get depressed. My body started to break down, and I never thought it was the sport. So obviously what I want to do now is, we've got people coming into Scala Precision Health all the time that are in their 50s and 60s, and they want to run a marathon or they want to do their first triathlon. So what the program is I developed is to help them do that safely, and I'm going to walk you through a few of the things that we do different that you won't get anywhere else. And I want you to think about something, folks. The endurance athlete's body, whether it's a male or a female, you have an alien metabolism because doctors do not know how to treat you. The only doctors that really understand this are doctors that are endurance athletes themselves, that ride 400 miles a week on the bike, that may be marathon runners. Then they kind of understand a little bit. So what we do is, the average athlete that comes through the door has to go on a 4-year journey. They start to feel bad, they're getting depressed, they're overtrained from elevated cortisol, they're stacking high mileage, and they feel like shit and they don't know where to go. So they go to the general practitioner. He's not an athlete, so they're lost. The athlete goes to a specialist, and I know because I sat with the athletes, with their general practitioner, with their specialist, even their psychiatrist, because they said, your blood work looks normal, this is all in your head. So folks, I love this performance program. Even though I don't do triathlons anymore, I get to live through the eyes of my athletes right now that cross the finish line. So let me take a little deeper dive into a few things so you can see why we're the best. Folks, follow me in this performance enhancement program. The athlete's heart beats about 84 to 120,000 times a day. Can you imagine that? And a lot of people don't think about it because your heart's beating in your chest, and it sort of goes unnoticed a lot. So this is a picture of a heart, and what I see a lot of athletes doing is, as soon as their legs feel better after a 100-mile bike ride, they don't think about their heart. Well, every time the heart beats, it's equal to lifting 70 pounds off the ground 1 foot. So when I started seeing athletes with bypasses, these super fit athletes needing stents, I said, what is damaging the lining of their arteries? What is damaging the lining of the arteries and causing soft plaque rupture, causing calcium to be built up? A lot of athletes now have a high calcium score, which we have a program for. And folks, I'm not trying to scare you. That doing endurance sports, doing long distance sports is like climbing K2, okay? You could die climbing K2, you could die doing a long distance sport if you're not trained or you're dehydrated. A lot of athletes that train and run a marathon and fly home, their blood pools in their extremities and end up having an effort thrombosis and throwing a clot. A doctor doesn't even understand how that happens, and that's what we bring to the table. Over 40 years of medical training, 30 years of testing athletes since 1996, understanding the athlete's heart, which a lot of cardiologists don't. They're used to seeing sick people. We treat athletes. I raced for 20 years, folks, made a lot of mistakes, but I'll tell you right now, we've got the best testing on the planet. So if you have high cortisol levels, high adrenaline levels, and you have low testosterone from racing, you can start damaging the lining of your arteries right here. You will block your arteries doing endurance sports if you're not hormonally imbalanced. The reason testosterone is so important is a naturally occurring hormone. It's not a performance-enhancing drug. You will lower testosterone levels, and when you lower testosterone, you lower the artery's ability, or the endothelial lining, the wall of the artery. If you're low in testosterone, you lower the ability to put out nitric oxide, which is a gas that keeps the arteries dilated. So again, folks, not trying to scare you. I've witnessed this. I was a paramedic. I raced for 20 years. I've had good friends have heart attacks. I had good friends die doing this sport. I'm sharing this information with you so you could cross the finish line safely. We want to help every athlete, a gender-specific athlete. We want to help women and men. Everybody that wants to do a long-distance race, we want you to do it safely. So what I did over a 30-year period, I immersed myself in two communities. I was an endurance athlete for 20 years, raced all over the country, did half Ironmans. I even swam 13 miles around the Keys. And I took a break from doing long-distance running, and I started swimming, which actually gave my body a chance to rehab itself. So what I'm trying to tell you is that immersing myself in the endurance community, and then I had to immerse myself in the bodybuilding community, because when I was so depleted, when I went through depression, it was all from my training, and I didn't believe it. So my point to that story is, let's not have that happen to you. So by immersing myself in the bodybuilding field, what I had to do, folks, I had to elevate my testosterone levels. I went on testosterone therapy, I went on growth hormone, and I had to rehab my body over 4 years. And that's what I don't want you to do. I want you to train safe. I want you to get a good coach. I want to do the advanced metabolic testing with my team, who is second to none. Trust me, you could Google this, and nobody can do what we can do. I want you to train and get a baseline before your race, and train and and after you finish your race, we want to ramp you up again, whether it's with IV therapy or a customized nutrition program. We start losing our hormones at 30. So if you're a 40 or 50-year-old athlete and you want to do a long distance race, you want to climb K2, we want to help you with that. But just understand, being 40 or 50 and taking this on, you're already going to be in the tank. So wouldn't it be great to correct your nutritional and hormonal deficiencies before you start your life-changing event? You may want to do a marathon, like I said, or climb K2. We want to help you do that safely so you don't make all the mistakes I did, all right? So check out Scala Precision Health, see the Russ Scala YouTube channel, and pick up a copy of my book, American Biohacker.
The time is now for you to take control of your health. Everybody and every body has a story. Let us find out yours today.